The Vampire Stream. The Vampire Stream. We out here. We out here on the Vampire Stream. Oh my gosh. I'm just tweaking the settings trying to get this YouTube streaming precise so we don't have any interruptions. So let me know if it gets choppy. It just did it again every single time. It has to be a YouTube problem. Either that or it's saying it's choppy and it's not choppy. But on my side it's saying that there's, oh my God. Is it choppy right now? Was that choppy? Can you hear me? Is it? Let me know something. Because on my end, it keeps randomly saying that it's fucked up. It looks fine on my side. I mean, everything else looks fine. Like, it looks cool. Can you guys hear me? You said I'm tweaking the settings. I hear you, Ego. All right, let me know. Is it choppy? Are we gang? Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna stop worrying about it. This is clearly it's YouTube. It keeps saying it keeps turning red and saying, and red means bad. You know, if it's green, it means it's good. But it'll turn red for like 5 minutes randomly, and then it'll turn green. But everything else look like, you know what I'm saying? Because when it's choppy, all this shit be choppy on my end. So it looks good. So I got to just stop worrying about that red bar. Yeah, fuck it. I don't know why it keeps doing that. But I've been playing with these settings nonstop. And it says we good on my end. So fuck it. Shout out to Houston. I might be out there if Charlo fight out there. The Vampire Stream. Listen, I got a lot to do. I don't want to waste y'all time on the Vampire Stream. So let's jump into the content. Vasyl Lomachenko, he had a media day. He said some interesting things. He mentioned, well, it was mentioned to him, I guess you could say, a Gervonta Tank Davis fight. And he basically said he'll fight Tank Davis if he earns a belt. Which, you know, bad news to me. Shout out to H-Town, hold it down, Minneapolis. That don't sound good to me. And I'm going to explain why. So I'm going to start off with Lomachenko, what he said specifically at his media day. They said, what about fighting Teofimo Lopez, who called you out? Lomachenko replied, and I quote, "No problem. I'm ready for anyone, but I need a belt. If you have a belt, you can come in the ring. Then I'll fight you." And that was when he was directly asked about fighting Teofimo. He says, I wanted to fight the best, but now Corolla is the best choice. He is the mandatory challenger and wanted to fight me. That's why I accepted this fight. Oh, you like the beanie? Shout out to you. Y'all can't hear the background music? Yo, what's good, bro? Y'all can't hear the background music now? Yo, I need y'all to respond in the comment section. Can you guys hear the background music? Because someone said, where's the background music? I hear it, but y'all can't? He said we can hear it. I don't know what dude's talking about then. Okay, can you guys hear it or not? Because some people are saying yes and no. I'm about to start blocking everybody. How don't you hear that? Like, am I bugging? I mean, I don't want it up too loud. I don't want it overpowering what we talking about, or where I have to compete against it. Loma is overrated trash, shaking my head. What? Teofimo would pick Loma apart. Well, yeah, I mean, the background music ain't the star of the show. Like, I am. Like, we here to talk boxing. I just throw that on, just so that's my thing. Listen, we got to talk about this Lomachenko thing. Once again, I didn't even hear this until after. Once again, man. This is what I'm talking about. Old media is getting fucked up in this game. They getting, hey, y'all gotta chill with this race shit. Like, bro, you don't do that, Charles. Don't do that. Please don't do that. My shooter's gonna get you. Listen, this is what I'm talking about. New media. Let's pick apart what he said. Teofimo's aggressively calling out Vasyl Lomachenko. He's in camp for his mandatory, a fight that most people probably aren't like dying to see. It's a mandatory. Whatever. Richard Commey's hurt. And now he's telling Teofimo, I'll fight you if you have a belt. Here's the problem with that. That, to me, that's like, there's multiple ways to not fight somebody. Point blank, period. There's several ways. Several ways to not fight someone. You can price yourself out and say, yeah, I'll fight, Chris Rock for $200 billion, knowing no one's going to pay for that. You can lowball somebody else. Yeah, I want to fight Luis Ortiz. Here, I'll give you a Whopper with cheese, knowing he's not going to take that. And a lot of times people get these politics. Yeah, it's just how you said it, Charles. Don't do that. But anyway, there's always like ways to inadvertently or like to not fight somebody but not come out and just say it. You get what I'm saying? And to me, it's like the stuff Lomachenko is saying is not helping his profile. Oh, I'm not gonna fight Pacquiao. Why? He's old. So, okay, he's not gonna fight Pacquiao because he's old? Really? So Broner, who's younger than Lomachenko probably, he had no problem fighting Pacquiao, and he got paid handsomely for it. Brandon Rios had no problem paying Pacquiao or fighting Pacquiao. Chris Algieri. But Lomachenko says, I don't want to add him to my resume because he's old. Knowing, like, if you had boxing fans and you could say, hey, who'd you rather see? Pacquiao versus Anthony Corolla, or Pacquiao versus Lomachenko, or Anthony Corolla, who would you pick? I'm pretty sure most fans would not be like, oh, I would pick Lomachenko and Anthony Corolla. We know that. We know these things. So that don't even make sense. I don't want to fight Pacquiao because he's old, but you fought Rigondeaux, and he's about the same age. He's 38, but they say he lied about his birth certificate. Now Teofimo is aggressively calling you out. like the Pacquiao thing, you can at least say he's with Heyman and stuff. But then you look at Teofimo, and he's on your same side of the street. He's with Top Rank. He's fought on your cards before. He fought when Lomachenko fought Linares. I think he was on that particular card. So he's fought on your cards, and he said he was going to steal the show. He's been making some noise with the little Fortnite dances and the home run, and he's been making noise with his performances. I just did a video where he sparred with a welterweight, Yordenis Ugas, who just had a great fight with Sean Porter, arguably beat him depending on who you ask, right? And then now it's a totally different thing. You're saying, oh, I'll fight you if you have a belt. So you won't fight Pacquiao because he's too old. You won't fight this young kid because he's because that's the difference. Pacquiao, he's too old. Teofimo definitely doesn't fit in that category because he's stupid young right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's super young. He's like 21 or whatever. He just turned legal to drink. So you can't use that. You can't say, oh, I'm not fighting Teofimo because he's old. But now you're saying I'm not fighting Teofimo because he don't have a belt. But if you listen to him, he says, I'm ready now. I'm a dog. Let me off the leash. Let me out the cage. I want to fight champions. And now you're saying I'll fight you if you get a belt? Really? Here's the problem with that. Do y'all want me to break this down? If y'all want me to break this down, can I get a hell yeah in the comment section? This is what I'm talking about. And oh my gosh, I'm about to body this. If y'all want me to break it down, can I get a hell yeah in the comment section? I'll let you know the problems I have with this. As a boxing fan, member of the media, whatever you want to call me. More cop-out. Cass Ghost with the prime cop-out. He said Loma versus Tio would be a great fight, but I think he is trying to get a Davis fight right now. Yo, please don't do this to yourself, because I've already thought about all of this stuff, and when you man fans come in here trying to use these cop-outs, you make it look worse for the fighter and you make it look worse for yourself. Because why? Okay, he moved up to 135. He captured a belt from Linares, unified with Jose Pedraza, a former 130-pounder as well, who didn't really do too much at 135, but whatever, came up on a vacant belt, or came up on a belt from Beltran. Then he unified. He says he wants to unify the division and he wants to fight the best at the division. And you talking about Tank Davis, who's not even in his division. Once again, when do you see pound for pound #1 guys regress and go backwards? Like Andre Ward, when he moved up from 168 to 175, that was it. There were fights he could have fought at 168. He could have fought James DeGale at the time. Could have fought Badu Jack. He could have fought Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. He could have fought David Benavidez, Caleb Plant. He could have fought guys, but he moved on to the next division. So why are we talking about Lomachenko going back down in weight after he said he wanted to be undisputed at lightweight? It sounded like it's too hot in the kitchen. That don't even make sense. Like, it's getting too hot in the kitchen at lightweight. So you're thinking about going back down? That's crazy. That's like Terrence Crawford being knocked down in his first fight at welterweight by Jeff Horn, and then coming back to stop him, and then having a super hard fight with Jose Benavidez, and then now Terrence Crawford is talking about fighting Regis Prograis and Jose Ramirez at 140. That would be the equivalent. But guess what? Once again, Terrence Crawford is not doing this. Terrence Crawford is a man's man. Terrence Crawford is like, man, I'll fight Errol Spence. I'll stop him. Don't think you're going to do that body shit to me. He's pulling up and, having dialogue with Errol Spence to his face directly. He's down to fight Mikey Garcia. He said he's down, and there was an offer made to fight Danny Garcia. He's fighting Amir Khan, who was available. You don't see Terrence Crawford looking at guys at 140. But, man, I'm going to go back there and fight Sergey Lipinets. So why is Lomachenko, why are we even talking about Tank Davis versus Lomachenko? It's a good fight. I'm not going to complain if it's made. But as a champion who says they want to unify and be undisputed at lightweight, I can't really understand looking down. And, oh, my gosh, I'm about to bury this dude. Watch it. Tell this. This is what happens when they go against new media. We already thought about all your trickery, all the little statements. Here's another thing. Why would you be worried about Gervonta Tank Davis, who's with PBC, Showtime / Fox or whatever network he fights on? Out of the two, right? And then you got a guy that's in your division right now, calling you out right now, with your promotional company right now, has fought on your cards right now, says he can beat you right now. And that's an easy fight to make. Make that make sense. Like, why would you, if you have someone who should be the easy, ready-made fight, two top-ranked stable guys, two guys that know each other, two guys already in the same division, why is Tank, who's on the opposing side, where you do have contractual or network issues, why would that be the priority? I'll wait. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have a compelling fight on your side of the fence right now that could be made with nobody moving up or down. So why would the priority be Tank Davis, which is, for all intents and purposes, the harder fight to make for obvious reasons? Leonard Ellerbe has already talked about Tank fighting on DAZN. He's like, man, we ain't fighting on DAZN. Tank is the star, not Tevin Farmer. So you already know. Lomachenko fights on ESPN and Premier Boxing Champs. We haven't seen Tank fight on ESPN. So once again, you guys can't just talk your way out of it. You got to come with something anew. Explain to me why Lomachenko, his priority would be the fight that's harder to make. And on top of that, Tank has said he will fight Lomachenko, but he's not aggressively calling him out like Teofimo, who's on his same side of the fence. These dudes are getting buried. Please come up with more bullshit, bruh. I'm waiting. These dudes are getting chewed and they know it. You know why. Here's the other thing. Man, I'll body anybody, man. Cause they're not gonna come up with stronger points. Period. People can do all the loud talking, all that stuff. They're not gonna come up with more thought out, thorough, efficient, factual points than what we doing on new media. It makes no sense. Like, obviously, like, put it this way. Let's say Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence both fought on ESPN, and Jose Ramirez fought on Premier Boxing Champs. And Errol Spence was on the same side, signed to Top Rank, signed with ESPN, and Errol Spence was like, man, I fight Terrence Crawford, man down. I need the opportunity. I want to be a champion. He's a champion. I beat him, man down, right? And then Terrence Crawford is like, man, I'm trying to fight Jose Ramirez on PBC. What about Omar Figueroa? And he's looking at people a division below on a different network. Come on, man. You know what you guys would say. Stop it. If Errol and Terrence Crawford were in the same division and Errol was a non-champion, aggressively calling out Terrence Crawford, and they're with the same promoter on the same network, and Terrence Crawford was talking more about fighting Premier Boxing Champions and a guy in another light division, you know what they would say. So stop fronting here. Just admit what it is. Just admit what it is. That's your only option. Resistance is futile. It's futile. Stop it. You know what they would say. And this is a shame for me to even say that, because Terrence Crawford is not doing any of that. I'm just using a random example. So I got to make up stories, to make this analogy. But that's the exact opposite of what guys like Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford and Mikey Garcia are doing. I can keep doing. We ain't done enough. I can keep going. Listen, here's another issue I have. He says Teofimo Lopez needs a belt. Let's do the math. Lomachenko fought Jorge Linares, took his title. That's one belt. Ray Beltran lost to Jose Pedraza. Jose Pedraza lost to Lomachenko in a unification. Lomachenko has 2 belts, right? Corolla's a mandatory. Richard Commey is injured with a knuckle injury. That's why, Lomachenko didn't fight him, because Commey, the IBF champion, has an injury. And then the remaining belt, Mikey Garcia has the WBC belt, and he's fighting Errol Spence this weekend at 147. And we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what Mikey does or how that fight plays out. So Lomachenko telling Teofimo to go get a belt, it's not likely, because Teofimo already told Max Kellerman on ESPN Max on Boxing. You see how I cite my sources? He already told him, I'm gonna be at lightweight for the rest of the year, and then I plan on moving to 140. So, he already has his plan in motion. He said, I'm not waiting for anybody. I'm letting it be known. I want to fight the top champions at lightweight. Hopefully they give me opportunity. Let's get it rocking and rolling. That's what Teofimo said, right? So look at the history. Lomachenko has 2 belts, or not the history, the landscape. Lomachenko has 2 belts. Mikey has 1 belt, and we don't even know if he'll return to lightweight. So his belt is pretty much in a vault right now, because the WBC is making a diamond belt for Spence versus Garcia. So we don't know. We don't know what they're going to order him to do. They are already obviously allowing him to keep the lightweight belt. So it's going to be a minute before we find out what's going on with the WBC belt, or they strip him or force him to relinquish it, because we have to first see what happens in the Spence fight and what he plans on doing after. So that bought Mikey Garcia time with the belt. So we don't know if he's coming back to lightweight to defend. The WBC is just happy to be a part of a big fight, Spence Garcia. So basically no one's going to have a crack at that belt until we get closure and figure out what's going on with Spence Garcia. And then even after that, it's probably going to take time to either strip Mikey, see Mikey go back down to lightweight, or have him voluntarily give up his belt. So basically, that accounts for 3 belts, 3 of the major belts in the division that are tied up, either by Lomachenko or Mikey Garcia. The only remaining belt is the IBF. I'm not talking about like IBO or some shit, but the only major remaining belt is the IBF belt held by Richard Commey, who just was like, they was going to fight Lomachenko allegedly, but he hurt his knuckle. So he's injured. So we don't know when he's going to be good. So once again, Lomachenko saying this to Teofimo, everything I just said was factual. So Lomachenko saying this to Teofimo Lopez, how exactly is he supposed to get a belt in this division with all those things considered? Let me know. So Lomachenko, by him saying that Teofimo needs to get a belt and then he'll fight him, is BS, because he knows that's not really possible. The only person who doesn't have a... Okay, so let me get this straight. Let me recap it real quick. Lomachenko has 2 lightweight belts, and he says, I'm not fighting Teofimo unless he has a belt. So that means he'd have to get the IBF or the WBC. The WBC is tied up with Mikey Garcia as he moves up to welterweight. So it's going to be a while until we see what's going on with that. And then the only other belt is held by Richard Commey, who is the IBF champion, who's injured right now. And beyond that, we don't know if Richard Commey, when he's healthy, is going to want to fight a Teofimo Lopez, somebody who's looking like a killer. We don't really know that. Especially when he don't have no belts to offer either, and he's looking like a problem. So Commey might not even want to fight Teofimo. So basically, Lomachenko is ordering or suggesting that Teofimo do something we know that's not really feasible before he leaves, before his planned leave out of the division. So I'm waiting. Where are the rebuttals at? Tell me what I said that was wrong. So basically, you're asking a man to do or get or achieve something that is really not likely probably this year, because he would basically the only avenue to get a belt anytime soon, He's already fighting April, on the Crawford Khan card. So after that, May, June, July, you're telling him to go get a belt from somebody and then unify what in December? It probably wouldn't even work out like that. So you're basically asking him to do something that can't be done, and it's a way to not fight, period. LOL, but people don't care about the facts because they hype and gas. Is better to talk about people be making up most of the stuff. For real. So he said, we all agree Loma don't want to smoke, bro. Oh, this is y'all crazy. I'm just asking. I'm curious. And now let's tie this all together, since I haven't heard not one rebuttal to what I'm saying. And then all the while, Lomachenko's fighting his mandatory, which is, Anthony Corolla, whatever. Now let's add this all up. The other issue that I personally have is, once again, old media will constantly put people on the totem pole at the top and on the pedestal, and anoint them before maybe they've even prove it. Lomachenko has proven he's a good fighter, for sure. You don't just get 2 gold medals and not just handing them out. But amateurs, pros, pro. I think that's clear. I mean, if the amateur record meant everything, then he wouldn't lose to a guy in the pros like Salido, who got knocked out in his pro debut. If it was just about amateur experience. So clearly they're 2 different arenas, because if you want to rave about his amateur pedigree, then again, why did he lose to a guy who got knocked out when he first turned pro in his first fight and been knocked out multiple times? Lost to Juan Manuel Marquez, lost to Mikey Garcia. So we already know amateurs is cool. It's great experience, put it on the trophy shelf, but they're 2 different arenas. Same way you see Deontay Wilder, a bronze late ad or whatever, get a bronze medal, knock out a gold medalist in Audley Harrison. And a chance to knock out Joshua if they ever fight. You get what I'm saying? So amateurs, pros, pro. So Lomachenko's a good fighter. We know this. But people want to see that challenge. People want to see him step. He's in a new division. There's a lot of challenges. And just in general, there's some people who are in or around his divisions that would be good fights. And it seems to be a reason one way or another to not fight him. Pacquiao, Teofimo, who's calling you out. And Pacquiao's situation is totally different than Teofimo. Teofimo should be really makeable if Lomachenko wants to fight, Here's the problem I have, though, with that. ESPN, like I said, they constantly put people on the pedestal and anoint them, but don't hold them to the standards of which they claim they are. You say Lomachenko's number 1 pound for pound, but then the behavior should match, right? Okay, Lomachenko, Stephen A. Smith said that to Mikey Garcia. So if Lomachenko is number 1 pound for pound, why not go after a prospect? You'll get more credit beating Teofimo Lopez than you will your mandatory Anthony Corolla. And there's ways around mandatories. So explain it to me. I'm waiting. Somebody please tell me. Tell me what I said. So it's like, this is the problem with old media. You put people on the pedestal, but then when it comes to proving that, they don't have to prove it, but they still remain on the pedestal. It's like, what? They said Loma's the best fighter since Muhammad Ali. Being a lifelong Muhammad Ali fan, I take offense to that because I don't see it. But fine, you see it, I don't. We can agree to disagree. So do some Muhammad Ali shit. Muhammad Ali ducked no fades. Frazier, Norton, Foreman in his prime. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, how is it that you could say Lomachenko is number 1 pound for pound, but then he don't have to take on the young Teofimo Lopez who's steamrolling guys? Teofimo Lopez, dare I compare him? That's like Floyd when he beat Canelo. Practically the same thing. Floyd beat Canelo, who was looking good, steamrolling guys, and showed boxing ability and brain, bigger than him. Floyd was 36, 37. Canelo was 23. Teofimo's 21. Less experience than Canelo probably had because Canelo was fighting frequently in Mexico, learning on the job. Golden Boy promoted him in America. He was fighting Baldomir, Mosley, Austin Trout, right? And Mayweather did it, and he was 37. Lomachenko probably barely 30, 30, maybe 29. I don't know his exact age, 29, 30. So you're closer in age to Teofimo. But then you're saying he has to have a belt. And Floyd fought Canelo closer to Canelo's fight. He fought him at a catchweight of 152, and Canelo was fighting at 154, which meant Canelo only had to drop 2 pounds, and Mayweather had to gain more pounds, from 47 to 52. So he had to gain 5. Canelo only had to come down 2. And you're saying that this Lomachenko is better than Mayweather, Pacquiao, and Ali and all this stuff, but we can't see him do things that we've seen Floyd Mayweather do. And you say he's number 1 pound for pound. Andre Ward, we know him as the consensus number 1 pound for pound when Floyd retired. He had done the Super Six, beat Edwin Rodriguez when he was undefeated and just won a tournament in Monte Carlo, first round knockout. Rodriguez missed weight. I know for a fact that Rodriguez on fight night for a fight at 168, and I know from personal people who were there, Rodriguez missed weight. They negotiated a weight the next day. He missed that weight, and Rodriguez was like 190 plus pounds at 168, and Ward still fought him, G'd up, and beat him convincingly. Beat Chad Dawson, who was the light heavyweight champion, who came down, called him, said, hey, I could fight you at this weight. Guess what he did? Moved up, fought Sullivan Barrera, undefeated puncher, at 175. Took one more tune-up, then fought Kovalev twice back-to-back. So once again, I'm not going to keep allowing old media to disrespect these American fighters, especially these black American fighters and these minorities. It's not happening on my watch, period. Especially if you're going to say that this guy and this guy is worthy of this and done more than this and constantly want to get the comparisons, but then they don't have to do what the person you're comparing him to did. Stop it. So, like I said, Lomachenko, I'll keep saying it, he's a good fighter, but I would like to see him take these challenges like a Teofimo Lopez. Don't just use a cop-out like, oh, you ain't got no belt, kid. Because belt or no belt, Teofimo is more relevant right now in his career than Anthony Corolla, mandatory or not. Facts. Corolla, listen. Man, I know what I'm doing. I'm destroying him. That's why it's so raw to see. I told you, I am Tupac reincarnated into the boxing world. I promise you, I know what I'm doing. I'm destroying them. Old media is getting destroyed. They have no answers. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. I'm just ferocious. They know they can't out-talk us. Now, once again, I would like to see these challenges be met, especially if Lomachenko is number 1, show us that. At this point, even a Gary Russell Jr. rematch would be good. Yeah, I like that. Shout out to Charles Baker. Yeah, that would even be good, And Gary Russell still is not even the most active person, but he's had some good wins since that. Joseph Jojo Diaz and, knocked out Johnny Gonzalez. He looked good versus Oscar Escandon. I know my boxing, bro. It's cool. All this high tech and the Matrix stuff is coming to an end unless we get to see this stuff done to somebody of the, and I told people, and see, this is why we're going to keep rubbing in your face. It's like a little puppy that chews up the shoes. I'm going to show you what you did. It peed on the carpet, peed on the rug. Put their nose right in it so they, right by it so they see you did this. I'm going to keep showing old media and I'm going to keep doing it and I'm going to keep doing it. because I said this stuff from the jump. And I'm on the front line, and they're like, "Oh, you're lying, you're racist and biased," and now where are they? Every single time, where are they? I've been saying the same thing. Where are they? Where are the people who say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about," blah blah blah? Where are they now? Now we're seeing it. We're seeing what I'm talking about. Loma will destroy Gary Russell Jr. You sound stupid, bro. Because at the end of the day, people grow and people learn. And if you'll destroy him, then fight him. It would be a better fight than Anthony Corolla. So what are we talking about? It'd be a better fight than Miguel Marriaga, coming off of a loss to Oscar Valdez. So what are we talking about? Lomachenko didn't fight Salido in a rematch ever. But you notice the black fighter, when they have a close disputed fight, guess what they have to do? Immediate rematches, whether they win or lose. Sugar Ray lost to Roberto Duran, rematched him 8 months later. Mayweather beat Castillo, beat Maidana according to the judges, still had to rematch him to appease the public. Andre Ward beat Kovalev. He could have just went about his business, said, "Hey, I'm out. That was a good fight, tough fight. I'm about to go chase some of this other money." He still rematched Kovalev. Lomachenko still ain't fought Salido. Yes, Toyota Corolla is a mandatory, but I don't care. I'm not it's always a mandatory. When Triple G would want to fight Dominic, a mandatory. It's always conveniently a mandatory. I'm off that because I know these promoters and matchmakers have the ability to call people, write a letter, send a telegraph, the Pony Express, message in a bottle, smoke signals, Morse code, sign language. When they want, they have the wherewithal to get these messages. AOL, Instant Messenger, Ask Jeeves. They get the message to these sanctioning bodies when they want to make another fight and get these exemptions and exceptions when they want. So, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that, oh, hey, because it's always a mandatory when you're a champion. But again, you think you can't talk to the sanctioning bodies, hey, we got a bigger fight for you. Your champion is going to defend against this hot prospect, Teofimo Lopez. Everybody's talking about this fight, right? You think that, no, Lomachenko must fight Corolla. Fuck you, how dare you? You think the sanctioning bodies want money too? They want to be involved with the biggest fight. That's why you see the WBC making belts for every fight. Do you understand? Errol Spence has one belt. It's the IBF belt. But somehow the WBC created a belt to be a part of the fight. You see how that works? So stop playing with me. Stop it. WBC didn't have nothing to do with this Errol Spence fight, but they crept into it. I ain't mad at it. Get in where you fit in. But Earl only had one belt. The WBC champion is Thurman. Or actually Porter, excuse me. It was Thurman. So, stop it. Oh, these mandatory and stuff, bro. They find a way out of the mandatories when they want, at will. Like Triple G. His mandatory got ordered for the WBC. Jermall Charlo. Once again, Triple G just signed with DAZN. Who thinks that his first fight with DAZN is going to be his mandatory Jermall Charlo? See? So how do they find a way out of those fights? I put $250 on it. Jermall Charlo Triple G is not his first fight with DAZN. I'll give out a $250 gift card to anybody on this. We'll do a raffle. Come on, bro. So anyway, it's just, like I said, it's disappointing. Like Lomachenko, like I said, see, this is what I'm saying. They ran around, old media ran around talking about, oh, no Moschenko. right? Oh, he's stopping everyone. And then the fans picked up on it and they said, oh, yeah, no one, everyone's going to quit. They said Tank would quit against him. All right, make Teofimo quit. That's what I want to see. No Moschenko. That's what I want. Make Teo quit. That should be a new hashtag. If it's no Moschenko, make someone quit. And once again, Teofimo is an adequate size, big lightweight with power, and he has boxing skill. He has boxing ability, and it looks like he's sparred with some good guys. I know he's trained at the Mayweather gym and impressed. He says whatever he said about the Devin Haney experience. He fought you guys. That's the problem. So they know that, and they know that. You know what I'm saying? But we've watched. You're telling me Lomachenko's skill set is better than Pacquiao and Mayweather and guys before him, but we don't get to see it. This is precisely what Mikey Garcia said. Mikey was like, man, I'm fighting Errol. Why are you fighting Errol? Because he said Top Rank, they got their own plan for Lomachenko, and I wasn't in the plans. So I'm not just finna sit up here and wait for him. And I don't blame him. Go sell at the AT&T Stadium. Try your hand at welterweight. Or as Keith Thurman would say, welterweight. Because we know the game. That's what I'm saying. The jig is up. That's why the Lomachenko-Mikey Garcia fight didn't happen. So, the walls are closing in. Once again, new media. We just persistent, doing our job, talking the facts. But it's just, again, it's offensive that old media perpetually puts out the notion this fighter is number one. This fighter's pound for pound. This fighter's better than all all these fighters. All the black channels. This fighter's better than all that. Right? Cool. But then we can't see the compelling matches that we want to see. But you still gonna hold that, dangle the catnip over our head and say Lomachenko is number one. Like ESPN's to this day. Saying he's number one. Okay, do number one things then. People got mad. They went ballistic when Mayweather was fighting Berto to close his Showtime contract. He was about to retire, close his deal. Lomachenko's younger, not 40 years old, and he's fighting Anthony Corolla, who lost to Jorge Linares, had a draw and lost to him. A guy he already beat. And that, it's just mandatory. Okay. How convenient. See how convenient this stuff is? It's like the matchmaking. So I feel like you can't have your cake and eat it too. Lomachenko's going to have to face one of those type of people. Devin Haney told me. He said, I can't wait to fight Lomachenko. He's like, that's who I want to fight. That's a better fight. He's a free agent. Him and his pops. I don't know if anything's changed, but last I heard, they're free agents. That's a better fight. Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. What about that? Teofimo, and that's what I'm saying. The walls are closing in because these young lightweights is hungry. These young lightweights is hungry. You can't just, get a belt. You got to do it. I mean, so you could just fight champs and mandatories. And you sending them on a wild goose chase talking about get a belt when Mikey's tying up a belt and he's fighting at welterweight. So that's out of the question for the foreseeable future. And then Richard Comey is hurt. So he can't get a belt. If I know he can't get a belt in the next couple of months, then you know that. So you're basically sending him on a wild goose chase saying get a belt and then I'll fight you, knowing he can't get a belt. He said, okay, then if Loma's number one pound for pound, then I'm number one pay-per-view platform in the world. Then fuck it. I've not done anything to warrant that title, but if anyone can have fake status, then so can I. See, yeah, my dude, RTD. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. It's like, it's literally absurd what old media tries to do. And my thing is this. You just pick your poison. Either continue saying that Lomachenko is number one pound for pound and he's better than Muhammad Ali and Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao and all this shit, and you've never seen this. Okay, cool. Then he's going to continue to have the same level of pressure to take good fights. Mikey's doing it. Mikey's moving up. Mikey started off at the same division. He started with the same company too. He was with Top Rank too. And look, as soon as he got free from Top Rank, look who he fighting. Robert Easter, Broner, now Errol Spence. Stop it, bro. You know? And then on top of it, what makes it worse is Lomachenko is a good fighter, and he got 400 plus amateur fights. You got 400, like, you should be more ready than virtually everybody. That's 2 gold medals. You should really be ready for anything. You know, why is it that guys like Floyd Mayweather, albeit Floyd got robbed in the Olympics, but Floyd don't have a gold medal. And guess what? He had to fight bigger dudes, but you can't fight Terrence Crawford. You know, you're not in a rush to fight Teofimo Lopez or Devin Haney, guys that are bigger than you. You get what I'm saying? But Pacquiao did it. Pacquiao don't got no gold medals. Loma got 2. Loma got 2 gold medals, and we can't see none of this. You know? And then I also feel like the old media, what they do is they overstate the popularity of certain fighters. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, this guy's a star, you know. Golovkin, his DAZN press conference was pretty light, you know. You don't see everyone just like going crazy over his press conference. I see more people make videos on my home page of Canelo Jacobs than I did Triple G press conference, you know, or even when DAZN announced it. You know, this is what I'm saying. This is what old media perpetually does, and we're going to keep exposing it. We're going to keep bringing it up and keep talking about it because you know it's true. You know everything I'm saying is real. Everything. You know? And old media, they'll never... I don't feel like they can ever beat us because it's rational thinking versus emotion and make-believe. Facts versus make-believe. It's like there's no way to win. There's no way you can beat us at that level. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no one that you can tell me, that real boxing fan, that outside maybe a few people from the UK or just, you know, family members or some shit, that want to see Lomachenko versus Anthony Corolla more than Teofimo or Devin Haney or Pacquiao. Period. So you couldn't fight Mikey. Mikey went about his business, taking a massive risk, massive fighting at welterweight. We're not even asking Lomachenko to fight at welterweight, you know, because we know it wouldn't happen. But we're not even asking that. But we say fight one of the up and coming studs in your division, and that can't even happen. What? Like, I mean, honestly, who wants to see the Corolla fight over Devin Haney and Teofimo and stuff like that for Loma? You know, or even Gervonta Tank. And like I said, why would Loma even be looking down a division for Tank Davis at the moment? You know, Tank may wait to his last fight. You know, he's a belt holder there. He's talking about going back down in weight. Who does that? You the number one. Like, listen, doesn't that kind of defeat the whole purpose of pound for pound? Is if you move up one weight class and then you realize the fights are tough, and then you move back down to 130? Isn't that the opposite of pound for pound? You know what I'm saying? Like, isn't that the opposite? Pound for pound, like my definition for pound is like, if you put my skill set in any division, you know, or if you can genetically engineer me as a fighter, how I would fare against featherweights, lightweights, you know, welterweights, light heavyweights, heavyweight, I would be the man no matter what. You get what I'm saying? And then on top of that, you have Arum who's co-signing this. He's like, yeah, he's the best fighter ever. Okay, cool. Let's see that. Let's see the best fighter ever versus a guy, you know, do what Floyd did with Canelo with Teofimo. Period. End of story. Do that. Let's see the Lomachenko now. You know what I'm saying? Because, and this is the thing. I'm not saying this like just, oh, I'm speaking real, you know. I'm not saying it's like, oh, I want to see Lomachenko lose, because this is what when old media has no answers to the questions we're asking, they start going off subject and, oh, you're ugly, or you just want to see Lomachenko lose. It's not about seeing him lose. I want to see the fight to see what would happen. I don't care if he wins. I don't care if he loses. I'm a boxing fan. This will help me rate him. It's not about people always, because once again, this is how emotional they are. That's how they look and view boxing. If you're rooting for this guy, it's because you hate this guy. If you're picking this guy to win, it's because you're going off a rate. I don't do. That's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm about. This is not my effort to see the guy that I think would beat. This is what they do. This is not like, motherfuckers be like, oh, Floyd fight Triple G because they think Triple G would beat Floyd. I'm not even doing that. I just want to see it so I can properly rate where Lomachenko is at, because that would be a hell of a statement if you derail and show, like a Teofimo, hey, kid, this the big leagues. You was playing in the minor leagues. You ain't ready for the majors yet. Like Mayweather did with Canelo. Mayweather set Canelo back a bit with that, and he had to learn. He had to learn the hard way. So I want to see, the skill set, especially when you keep telling me he's better than Muhammad Ali or anything we've ever seen. Just when has this ever been the case in boxing where it's just like someone saying, hey, I could do a backflip. I could do a backflip. All right, do it. Nah, I don't want to. Like, go, do the backflip. Man, it's the rawest backflip. It's the best backflip. Watch how much air I get. All right, do it. Nah. Like, what's the point of somebody bragging about something or saying something and nobody could see it? It wouldn't make sense. So that's my standpoint on the whole situation, on the whole matter. Very disappointing to see and hear Lomachenko talk about, I'll fight T.O. if he has a belt, because he don't have one. And it's going to be hard for him to get one, since the only other belt holders in the division, one's left the division, Mikey Garcia, and he's fighting at welterweight. So his belt is tied up for a minute. And then the other guy, the IBF champion, Richard Commey, has a knuckle injury. So he's out. It's a hand injury. We don't know when he's coming back. So how's he going to get a belt and fight you before the end of the year, And then old media supports it and they don't say nothing. But then let it be Deontay Wilder. Oh, why is he fighting mandatory Dominic Brazil? What? And see, that's worse. And oh my gosh, I promise you, I got y'all. New media is fucking y'all up. The Wilder situation is not even comparable. Yes, Dominic Brazil is a mandatory. Yes, it got ordered, blah, blah, blah. But the difference is he was in negotiations for a bigger fight, a grudge match with Tyson Fury. And through no fault of his own, Tyson Fury pulled out. Tyson Fury seen the light in that 12th round and went to another network, created more complications. And then that was it. That was that. So these dudes, they try to be new media so bad, but they can never do it because we know the facts and they're not going off of facts. So you can't but Wilder's fighting his mandatory. Yeah, he likely is fighting his mandatory, but we know why he's fighting his mandatory. We don't know why Lomachenko is fighting his mandatory over another great fight where they could probably get an exception or exemption, in Teofimo. Or like a Devin Haney. Top Rank keep telling us that we have real diamonds, but they don't. Hey, y'all, oh my gosh, y'all killing it with the analogies. He said Top Rank keep telling us they have real diamonds, but don't want to get it diamond tested. They don't want that diamond tester to start beeping. That's a good one. I like that. That's a good one. Yeah, like, man, my jewelry's all real. All right, I got the diamond tester right now. Where's it at? Where's it at? And then you don't let us, you know what I'm saying? We can't run that diamond tester on it. Wow, that's a good one. So, anyway, that's my thoughts on the whole matter. And see, and I'm telling you, I do think that, however, Teofimo's a tough fight for Lomachenko. I do think that because the way Teofimo got a nasty uppercut, and the way Lomachenko be bouncing in, that uppercut is sneaky, and that's one of them punches you probably won't see if you do that rabbit jumping in shit. You gonna jump into because that even Conor McGregor caught Floyd Mayweather. See, Floyd Mayweather, I think Floyd carried Conor. That's just my thoughts. I think Floyd carried Conor, and he thought even less of his boxing skill, so he was just like super nonchalant. And then Conor McGregor, to his credit, came with the swift ass uppercut from underneath, and he's a southpaw. Mayweather, oh shit, and that probably woke up Mayweather's game. Mayweather got a good chin though. You get what I'm saying? But anyway, the way Lomachenko fights, that TO uppercut, that would be the punch to look for. Because somebody doing that, do. And see, this is what I'm saying. Like, they hype it up like, oh, no Moschenko. Okay, no Mas, a young 23-year-old kid who's active, who's, feels he's ready and has been knocking people out and loving the feeling. Not Nicholas Walters off the bench, Gary Russell, who hadn't fought anyone, at that point of his career. No, not Rigondeaux moving up 2 weight. Do you see what I'm saying? See, and this is the big problem I have. Old media. You notice we've seen Floyd do this. We've seen Pacquiao do this. We've seen Sugar Shane Mosley do this. Everybody else had to do this. We've seen Cotto avenge against a bigger Margarito. We've seen Cotto beat and knock out a bigger Sergio Martinez. We've seen Sergio Martinez beat a bigger Julio Cesar Chavez, a huge punching, bigger Kelly Pavlik. We've seen this. We've seen Bernard Hopkins beat Kelly Pavlik, We've seen Mayweather beat the bigger Canelo, the bigger Cotto, the bigger De La Hoya, the bigger Maidana, big puncher, outweighed him. Shane Mosley, bigger than him, athletic, fast. We've seen these things. Pacquiao, we've seen him fight the Margaritos and Broner, guys that were bigger than him. But then, like when it comes to see Lomachenko, they say, oh, he's number one. Okay, cool. Let's see him beat a big guy with some boxing skills who's feeling himself right now. No. All right, let's see him fight an old veteran like Pacquiao who's still got some fights left in him. Oh, no, he's too old. But you just fought Rigondeaux. And people always make fun of these Cubans' ages. Oh, no, Rigondeaux, really, he 49 years old. It's just so hypocritical. So, something's got to give. You either reevaluate that pound for pound list, and then the standard won't be for that person in the slot. Because guys like Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia, I get the feeling that if they are in the number one spot, they don't care about the pressures that come with it because they want all the smoke. Period. Overrated Chenko, one loss in Chenko, all hype Chenko. Wow, y'all going in. See, and this is the thing. 40-year-old Rigondeaux, 38, whatever age, he moved up 2 weight classes to fight Lomachenko. You don't even have to move up. You could fight Teofimo in your same weight class. And then now we'll see how you fare with somebody with a size advantage. You see, this is what old media doesn't want, because they fear the possibilities. You see what I'm saying? They had no problem with Rigondeaux, little ass. Rigondeaux is small. I interviewed him. He's small. I think he can make 118, if he wanted to. He's small. And that's cool. Fair game. He wanted it. He called Lomachenko. Lomachenko had no problem being the much bigger guy. Like physically, visually, everything. You could see it. No problem being much bigger. He did his duty, beat him, And the other thing is, let's be honest. The Rigondeaux fight it wasn't even that great of a fight. Like, I've literally never went back and watched that fight. Not because I was, hurt by it or anything. It was just because it wasn't that engaging of a fight. Lomachenko, people sleep on this. He was actually missing Lomachenko was swinging and he couldn't hit Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux still had defense. He was having some issue hitting in some of the early rounds, because Rigondeaux's good legs, he was getting low with it, and Rigondeaux was getting frustrated when Lomachenko clinched, or it's the other way around. Lomachenko was getting frustrated when Rigondeaux clinched. So let's see how Lomachenko fares with the guy who's bigger. We've seen every other person do it. You say Bob Arum is saying that Lomachenko is greater than all these people, but again, we can't see him at a weight deficit in his division against a guy with boxing ability. Canelo can box. Mayweather destroyed him, and he was bigger. Canelo was bigger and can box and had youth on his size. And once again, there's no pressure, but Wilder gets immense pressure. Why did it? And see, the worst part about old media is they be playing dumb. Why is Wilder fighting Dominic Breazeale, knowing that's his mandatory and knowing he would only have to fight his mandatory because Tyson Fury pulled the stunt that he did. Lomachenko don't have all those reasons, Anyway, I'm out. Holla at the boy, but disappointed stuff here. Peace out.